I am calling the joint meeting to order. It is 6:07 and today is Wednesday, 7:30. And we have a full agenda. So because we have a group here, I would, if there's anybody mind leaving that item off, please. The Friends of the Bend in the River Community Room Renovation Project. I understand Frank Colombo is very, you know, I always mess up your name, Carrie. You'd like to give a presentation and, we all have a copy of what was sent, to the board, so, well, I'm sorry.
Afternoon. Yeah.
Does everybody have a copy of this?
I would like to.
Those are in the packet. It was in your packet. It was in the board packet. I am sure I get a copy, so.
I haven't been on. since-
Okay.
Oh.
Anyone does not have one?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I have one. Thank you. Yes.
Use myself to measure.
Okay, I
won't mind to go to waste. Printer from.
while we're waiting for a minute, I'd like to recognize that, Mayor Dalton is joining us via Zoom as well, so.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, and we can see you too.
That's a good thing.
Okay, so Frank or Carrie?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Okay,
Let's see. For our time. Okay, so we, as a group, are Friends of Bend in the River. And I can go through the names if you'd like. And we are proposing a written resolution for the Riley Community Room renovation. As you know, we presented a while ago, maybe a year ago, as for community center, so we have kind of streamlined it, got the name, got the logo, and this is where we're at. And this proposal is a starting stone, I guess, I should say. Friends of Bend in the River respectfully submit this resolution to request formal support and raise funds for the renovation of Riley Community Room located. The goal of this initiative is to improve the accessibility, functionality, and overall conditions of the Riley Community Room to meet the growing needs of the community. This space has the potential to serve as a valuable community hub, hosting a wide variety of inclusive intergenerational programs. Proposed uses include fitness and wellness programs, business seminars and professional development, educational workshops and classes, senior citizen gatherings, meetings for veterans, events and programs for individuals with special needs. To support this initiative, the Friends of Bend in the River will actively seek donations from individuals, families, local businesses, and corporate sponsors. We are proud to share that we have partnered with the Northern New York Community Foundation, which has generously agreed to match the funds raised for this effort. Initial renovation priorities include improving acoustics to enhance functionality and comfort, upgrading stairways and entryways for safety and ease of access, renovating restrooms to comply with ADA accessibility standards, painting and aesthetic improvements, reorganizing the layout for improved usability. All activities and events within the space will be appropriately supervised with scheduling and oversight provided by the Camp Recreation Office. We believe that revitalizing the Riley Community Room is a significant first step towards creating a dedicated community facility that reflects the values and needs of the people of Camp. We respectfully request the board's support and consideration of this resolution as we continue working to enhance the quality of life for residents of all ages in the village. Thank you.
any board member have any questions? Jeff?
So this is just a jump off point. Do you have any? Do you have a goal? As-
Obviously,
And,
community center. No, dollars.
no, I mean,
Oh.
do you have a goal? I mean, do you have any sort of budget in place, you know? What do you think what it's gonna cost? Do we have a, you know, what are we physically gonna be doing?
We have been informed from a meeting that we had, with Randy Richardson and Craig Everard from Watertown, who were extremely, supportive of the idea. First of all, they came up to Watertown, they spoke with us, for over an hour. And they indicated that they would match at this point a $5,000 collection that we would have. They would also add 5 onto it. And so we're looking to work within that budget, all these great things that we have in mind, as an initial step forward. That answers your question.
Is the goal 10,000?
$10,000, 5. We'd like to have more, but we're gonna keep it, controlled, and then, they are willing. We showed them I won't get into the details, we showed them a couple of steps forward. And if you folks know the Northern New York, Community Foundation, they are extremely supportive. And, this is what they do. They've done it throughout the North Country, the 3-county area, and, they're willing to talk to us, again, if this goes well.
But-
We'll leave it at that.
But has anybody looked at what you want to do and giving you any kind of estimate on what it would cost to do it?
Yes, after we get some feedback from the board tonight, we have a follow-up meeting. The date is 13th of August. We're gonna all sit down, get ideas of what we want to address, and then, kind of go out, reaching into the community to see what the estimates for that kind of work would be. So it's within that parameter. And we want to keep the work local, of course, let the folks of the community, and that's the idea behind what we're doing. To bring in more economic development, new activities for our youth, our adults, our seniors, that are centered someplace that we can get together and, keep the contracts and all local. So that's what our goal is. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just. The town and village are involved with this LWRD. That has to do with assessing our recreational assets. In relation to the river mostly, which that we're obviously, it's a big part of. And so the goal of that is to have a comprehensive plan. So I guess my question is. Until we get the results of that, how is this fitting to the comprehensive plan about recreational assets?
And we're not gonna go behind anyone's back. We have spoken with, Ms. Richardson, with Megan.
Oh, I don't think you are, it's
No.
just that it's a little piece of a big
Oh,
puzzle.
yes. Oh, yeah, yes, thank you.
An update, yeah,
Yes,
the space needs an update, right?
and it's a good place to start, we feel.
So, whether it gets considered into this. LW, well, yeah, it's a big.
We use a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
You need their own little book for it.
It sounds like, Barb, you're just trying to give a facelift to an existing facility. Is that correct?
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is basically a request for support from the 2 boards for the concept. And to move forward with fundraising.
Yes, and,
Right.
yeah.
So it's not technically a resolution, it's a request from the Friends, right? For support to move forward, and I thought Jim's question was really good because it really is about money and that type of thing. How much it's gonna cost, because the town does do recreation now, and so, this would be a piece of the puzzle process. Okay. So, another question I had, so as far as the fundraising, what is gonna be the process? Who is gonna accept the monies?
The Northern New York Community Foundation will hold. Yes.
So all fundraising efforts would go directly to them,
Yeah.
and then they would match that, okay, all right.
So is it set up as a donor advised fund, or is that what you have set up there? Is, you're the sort of the donor, but they manage the money and do all the tax ways.
Constituents and basically the
I don't.
nonprofit.
And we're not looking.
Are you a nonprofit?
No.
No.
No, we don't feel legalizing the So foundation to be that, and yeah,
So they would pay all the bills.
yes, yeah, they're going through them, yes, as an agent.
And we're not looking just to spruce up a facility that already is. We want things to take place there. It is an ideal location because it is in the center of the bend of the river. And I think it would become so much more attractive for the programs that we're looking at. Senior citizens could go down once a week and play games or whatever. The veterans could have a meeting there. There is no location in Canton for those types of activities to take place. And that's what we wish to bring to the community. That's our goal.
So, yeah.
So. I was wondering if you're familiar with, or if anybody has pointed you to our community-based projects, like form and process, because I believe both boards had agreed on a process for community projects like this. And there's a form and a process, and the department head is involved and like that sort of thing. Is,
You have a more formal process. We don't have.
Yes,
a
the
formal.
town doesn't have that.
We don't have what we have, but, so has this.
so this has not, it has not reached the village through that process. So.
Yeah, we met with the mayor just this past week, we stopped in to let him know, and, I mean, he basically did say that we need, permission of the boards, because we are going to be working with a village entity, the pavilion, and, but now they're knocking about.
So I think we need to follow that. And we can.
Well, that will help that, I think that seeing that process and seeing that form. There's a lot of information that for our municipality to say, yes, we want to partner with another organization, right, to do work on village and town property. That needs to be clear. There are a lot of details that need to be, worked out for us to be able to do that. And so certainly I love the concept, but I also think what Barb brought up about the fact that we have an assessment already underway that includes the pavilion, that without details as to how much this is gonna cost, who's gonna do the work, what the process is gonna be,
Who's
who's gonna,
approve a plan?
You want
who's
to
gonna-
give us the money.
like,
We have to.
Yeah, I know, right.
I feel that if, I don't know quite how to move forward without approving that, because we don't have all those steps in place. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we would be approving way ahead.
What's that?
So the process is, if the community group wants to do something in the village, you have to fill out a form, meet with the department
The
head.
department head,
Which they have.
which it sounds like you have, I have not heard from Megan, but it sounds like.
Is this new, or have you had it right along? Or is that everyone?
No,
It
Yeah.
gets lost in the sauce, and we had a bad experience recently where it didn't get done and there was
Well,
follow-up.
we definitely do whatever you need.
It's not hard, if you send your email, I'll make sure I can.
Yeah.
So
Because it's hard to find.
Okay. But I want, please be reassured that I am excited about the energy and
Absolutely.
it's that absolutely. I would love to see, how refresh and this, you've done so much already. This is just a part of it. This is not hard. It just gives us the information and in terms of this, the biggest part of the form really in my mind is knowing what your steps are and what the plan is.
It'll probably guide us as well,
Yeah.
it'll help us to focus on what we, do.
Sure. And it helps with clear communication between all parties.
Yeah.
So I do see her.
Just a quick note, I'm Jen. So when we were speaking with, Mr. Richardson Industry, and, they wanted to know how much we thought, so we kind of guesstimated 10,000 as a beginning start point. we didn't know if there were certain workers that you needed us to have, if there were certain people to review the space, and that's why we're here too, to find out how can we proceed at our next meeting and have those people available or have them check hopefully before we meet, because we will be meeting in the Riley room. And also the ADA bathrooms, I would think that there might be some grants or something that might be able to go directly to that, that's not part of our meeting. I'm not sure, are there certain things that, and the stairway and stuff, is that anything that you already have places that we can get some money for that or not? So, they are waiting to hear from us again, that everything's okay to pursue it ourselves.
Yeah.
So we just need to get one to you filled in as well.
Do we need to do the form prior to starting to get donations, or just community involvement to do that?
I mean, I don't know anything about the donations. I'm just, yeah.
I think we need to go back there.
Yeah.
It certainly is a village decision.
It won't take, this is not gonna impede.
Doesn't make, I have to sign off on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be huge robot,
Right.
it's not a massive form that's 30 pages long, it's
Right.
it's
No.
just, these are the details, just so that we have it right, because, you know, going back to what Barb said. We have awesome community members, and I love this, but there have been times when things have been challenging because we didn't have a formalized process, and now we do. So we're just saying,
That makes sense.
and I have every confidence that this is gonna be awesome.
And the part about where we, wanna have some programs, it's really the start of bigger future. So if we see how, as we learn as we go and to, bring these groups in and how we make space available and that kind of thing. So someday, if we do have an actual community center, a building of itself, we can run it as we should. So this kind of gives us that ability to do that as well, on a small scale.
Right.
So you can, work out all the bugs and waters, test in the waters.
Mayor, did you wanna say anything?
No, I appreciate them coming to us. That's what we met about, when they stopped in to see me, is that we had a conversation about, meeting, them addressing the joint board. I support this. We do have a process that's out there so that we get more information. And I'm comfortable that, we can say, hey, we support this, but, there's some steps we have to go through. The other piece is that Megan Richardson has been involved in this, and she may have some input that, she could provide us now. And I would encourage her to speak up. Megan?
Happy to step in. I want to help maybe clarify everything, because again, I don't want anybody to think that the group is trying to go behind anybody's back or try to go around the LWRP process or anything like that. The Friends of Bend in the River is a very passionate group, and they're passionate for a reason. They're looking out for themselves. They're looking out for their parents. They're looking out for their kids, their grandkids, their great grandkids. I think the reason why they're in front of both boards right now is just to formally say that, we're doing this. This is, I think they're just trying to look for a formal support of everybody on the board. Yes, we do have our community project application. Tim Appleknap, he's sitting in front of you. He's done that application when he did the fundraising for our lobby chairs. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they are sitting in front of you just to get the initial support to start fundraising, to make sure that both boards have their support to fundraise. And then from there, we will go into individual projects for that community room. There's a lot of little projects that can get done within that big project of renovating the community room. And that's where our community forums can come into play. Little things that I've talked with them about is adjusting the entryway, just to make it more welcoming. So that way, if there's not a hockey game going on, people can still access the room in a welcoming way. We've talked about possibly putting in air conditioning because there is no HVAC in that room. So in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of little projects that can be done in the great bigger project of renovating that room. And again, Friends of Bend in the River, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the reason why you are sitting in front of this board is just to get that initial support that you're going to go out and fundraise because you do want to improve the community room. But then the next step would be picking out which project you're going to focus on first. We'll complete a community project form for that one single project, and then we'll do that going down the road. And hopefully that kind of clarifies with everybody on the board to know that this isn't just one project, it's a lot of little projects to complete a bigger picture.
I guess in terms of process. I mean, I have no problem saying go on this, but leave this can.
I just wanted to say from my perspective too, I'm fully in support of the community center concept. I've discussed it with Carrie at least, if not others. And I think what your intention is here is to sort of start on a smaller scale, start creating the space and the programming, which going forward will demonstrate that there is a need for it and it will help when we look to do a standalone, maybe if that's the goal, community center. Having those sort of trials or things done on a smaller scale will help to build that application when we are looking for funding to do that down the line. So I like the idea of trying to make some small improvements to make the space more accommodating so it can be utilized more robustly. I mean, for more community type events and not on a limited basis. So I think you're going in the right direction.
So is it, can we just say, modify the resolution to be that the boards support the fundraising efforts of Friends of Bend in the River?
Or
communities
that are, this isn't a resolution, an official resolution that we're voting on, it's a proposal, you know, it's been called a resolution, so. I think we can probably do a motion to support the concept.
I'm not gonna, I'm just, in terms of process, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, or I'm just asking the question in terms of, do we support fundraising before we have a proposal? In terms of process?
I mean,
I think because you're talking about it, Jim, I do, in that that's a long process, the fundraising part.
Sure.
And they're probably not fundraising for the paint for the, say. They are trying to get some cash and then they'll be able to say, here are the projects we've listed. This is how much money we have, we will do this much.
It sets a precedent in terms of process of how we will
Approve
projects. Yeah.
This is not, again, this is a project. I don't think this is an approval of a project, it's an approval of that concept to go forward.
so what was presented here though was a request to approve them fundraising for improvements to the riot room.
Yes.
That is a project.
Yes.
Therefore,
Just ask.
so if a show of support, that we support you fundraising towards this goal of having space and programming that our community, I agree, needs. I can support that. I don't think this is the appropriate process for us to agree to upgrades to the riot room.
Right.
And I don't think
we are.
We're not really.
Okay, I just think that
should be
this reads differently than.
Right, and
So,
but if we make a motion, that's what's gonna
Okay,
be in
that's fine.
that. So I'm gonna move
okay,
that we support Friends of
Second.
Convention the river.
Well, wait,
Hang on a
let me
minute,
get
for the
that
record,
For the record.
For the-
state your motion for me.
That we support the Friends of Bend in the River Park initiating fundraising to support recreation. Let's even just leave it at
Okay.
that.
That I can.
Second.
Okay, wait a minute, so, Mayor, you want me to?
No, I suspect.
Okay,
You don't
okay,
know.
okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Sad
You don't
state
know,
of
no,
affairs.
okay, go ahead.
Alright, so we have a,
Not about your project. Just, I'll be clear on that. Yeah. Cause I trust all of you and I think it's very great. So.
so we have a motion in a second.
Who's your second? Is it, you're your second?
I,
Okay.
Mayor? Do you wanna vote?
Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, we voted, aye.
Aye.
Yeah, and I do wanna make it clear that this is about protecting our process and not about this project.
Right.
Okay, so I, now the town's word needs to, so whatever Barb said.
Okay.
Can you repeat that back?
Hmm.
A motion to, what'd you say,
Go
Barb?
for it.
Support
Support.
recreation. She worded that.
Initiating fundraising, supporting the recreation. Support recreation.
Support recreation.
Okay, is there a motion from the town?
Yes.
Jim Smith, is there a second?
It's a motion.
Second, oh,
I-
Randy, all right, all in favor, say
Well,
aye.
I got one other question I wanted to ask. Frank, when you talked to Randy Richardson, was that 5,000 a cap?
Great, no.
Okay, so if you should happen to raise 10 yourselves, will they match it at 10? Do you, that's possible, okay,
Yes, they're,
Yeah.
they're very open.
Or he might
That's when
just.
we started.
okay, all right, so,
Being conservative, we just were really kind of thinking off the top of our head,
Realistic,
you know,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know,
but,
should it be a little more or whatever? Yes, you can understand that. So I think they're willing, so.
from,
I think that we probably will outdo ourselves there, but.
and from experience, don't get much done today for $10,000. Huh?
Is it acceptable to have volunteers? That's not. For your. Okay.
Part of that.
Okay, so we have, the town, we have a motion and a second, and there was a question. I have another question. Do you have this in writing from the community or the, Northern New York Community Foundation? Do you have it in writing? If not, I would suggest you do it.
They have what you have.
I think they were.
But I think.
Right.
Part of the structure, you might wanna do that.
Someone will be involved in the.
Yeah, somebody agreement.
A written commitment, not just an oral commitment.
And I say this because I sat on the Kent Community Fund for many years, and there is stuff in writing about the process and all that. So I would suggest that you make sure that you
We
do
didn't
that.
want to get ahead of ourselves, we wanted to be very cautious and step by step. Being here tonight, this has been helpful to us, and I know that Randy and Craig will be very equally supportive when we get together. So.
Well, this is great. Okay, so we do have a motion in a second.
Aye.
Uh,
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carry. Okay.
Yeah, they had, you know, we're learning what to do and how to go about everything, and so when we met with them,
This needs to go down that way.
they, you know, one of the gentlemen had said that we need to do a written resolution, you know. Googled it. Looked it up, sent to Frank. he
You know
typed it up.
what? We worked our way through it and I think we got to what you needed. Yes, all right.
So just, you know, that.
So you're all more than welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting. We would love that, but don't feel bad if you have to leave.
Well, we will like, now we'll go back to them and we'll say, you met with the board, we have the support permission, and then we will take, do what they want us to do and then what.
Okay,
And
thank
even,
you for everything.
even if you have Randy reach out to either the mayor or the supervisor, if there's any questions, from them regarding it. So
Reach out,
Very.
yeah, reach out, what?
it's either the mayor or the supervisor, so that, goes from us to you, back to them, and then from them to you, back on. There's no, I don't think there's any problem with them talking directly to the, the community, the foundation, so.
Because it might not be published that you agreed on this. You know.
That's.
Okay, we do have a full agenda.
Yeah,
You want to say no more, Jim, Gary?
Yeah, so like we wanted to, if we could start the donation process, then we were gonna put an article in the paper, but we have to wait until we get that farm done project, right?
I believe North Country Now is here, and they always, do articles afterwards, so.
Oh.
The press is here.
Oh.
Online, so.
It wouldn't hurt to send it.
Okay, so just so we're clear, they have to still do the form and
Yes.
and go through the
Right.
process, okay?
Right.
Okay,
But
great,
it can be happening soon.
Right, exactly.
okay, well, thank you,
Thank you so
everybody,
much
for everything, this is
And all your
wonderful.
love.
This is great, thank you.
Yeah, thank
You're welcome.
No illusions that people don't want to see.
This would have that pay this.
All right.
You, thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have that.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, well, it's item number 1. Okay, everybody? Yep. Services agreement, the recreation, we still do not have one, I was just.
We have one, so it just, we haven't modified it. I forget what the-
Oh, we don't have it.
They're in a.
Can you guys hang on a second?
Yeah.
It's too loud.
We can't hear it out here.
Sorry about. Fair enough. Yep, so.
Yeah, I know.
Improve your side of town.
Okay. Shared services agreement for recreation. What is the status of, from the recreation committee and the amount that, that has been discussed?
So we talked about it, and you and I have had a discussion as well, that didn't we decide the best way to do it is do it annually until we catch up, because there's still gonna be a gap.
I don't think we ever came to any final resolution, and I just wanted to correct it, we have a contract, and the attorney has said all of the intermunicipal contracts are in effect until you change them, so it's not like we don't have an agreement, we have an agreement. If we need to change it, we can change it, but they're in effect until you make changes, so that could be 1 year or 5 years. Just to clear that we can, it's not like we don't have them. I don't know that we ever came to a final. Oh, I mean again? I mean, we're certainly doing last week. I mean, there's nothing we can do tonight,
No,
so. that's
Well,
me.
I have started my budget and, so I just
You need some information.
right now, I'm keeping the same amount in, until further notice or recommendations from the committee
Let's see you soon.
and the board.
Yeah, how about next week?
I have to check. I can't sit up on that.
Okay, so we're gonna table that and, it'll go back to the recreation committee.
Great.
Okay, the senior citizens program agreement. Now, this came out of, so the shared services committee met. And in reviewing the recreation, agreement, which we knew would have to go to the recreation committees, it was brought up that the senior citizens agreement, should be not part of the recreation agreement. So everybody has a copy of the current contract between the village and the Canton Senior Citizens. I'm thankful that you're here, Myrtle, and I gave you a little heads up on this. So the fundamental question was, should this still be part of the recreation agreement? I think we had talked about, the shared services committee talked about that it really should be separate because the town does contribute, but we don't even sign the contract. So we need to look at that. Do we want to take it up? So the recreation committee, maybe you should look at that, take it out, and that this be a separate, agreement between the town and the seniors and then the village and the seniors. Or do we just both sign, this contract? Jim, I think this was your question, Jim? This was your question about the senior citizens as well, that it should be separate out of the recreation?
Yeah,
It should be in the recreation
No,
budget.
it's too, you know.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Was in there.
As I said, if we're gonna have a contract with them, have a contract with them.
Right.
Why is it hidden in, not hidden, but you gotta be careful how you say that. I get
Included.
thanked for using that word.
Mine's
Uh,
included.
That's right. And so anyway,
It doesn't need to be in the rec budget.
no, it doesn't need
That's
to be in the rec
everybody
budget.
on that. And I
Well-
think if the agreement is signed for this year,
So,
so starting in.
here's the story.
2026, we could have that drawn
When
up.
she's done.
Oh, John,
For 30 years, that's where it lived,
Yeah.
was in the recreation budget,
Right.
because technically it is recreation
Mhm.
money for the senior citizens, that's why it lived there. That's when the recreation budget was its own entity, before it became part of the village budget. That's why it lived there. And as far as both town and village signing it, the recreation director for 30 years always signed it as the representative for both the town and the village.
That makes
That's
sense.
how it all works.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's totally fair.
so is there some sort of formal action that needs to be taken to, so that the next agreement is not in the, I mean, I think we took it out of. No, okay,
But, I mean, that's just an accounting thing.
Right.
It's not under the code or
Right.
rec, it's only under the general.
exactly,
I mean,
so,
that's all that is accounting. Sure. And then,
so what action is needed, I guess is the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a separate line item in there,
That's right.
but it's two separate things all in one agreement. So why not have-
We have a separate line.
why not
item
have
in our
an
budget
agreement
that,
for
too.
each?
we do have a separate line in our budget.
For the,
Outside recreation.
okay,
Well,
Yeah, the village.
so this is
bills
more for us to do
And then
this.
we pay the village.
Right. But that,
But
the
we
other-
don't sign the agreement. That, I think that was two issues, still part of recreation, but we just, we're allocating this, but we don't sign it to this, so.
uh-huh, yeah,
So, for this year, it's done and over with, but
Right.
moving forward, it should be a separate agreement with the senior citizens, so they have two agreements, we have one and they have one with the senior citizens.
Fine.
Absolutely.
And then it'll save time too, that the village doesn't have to build a town, we would just pay it without that stuff. Okay, so, is everybody in agreement with that?
So we're.
That we just do it separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we split the $3,000.
Okay, and Myrtle, we'll be in touch before the end of the year about process and all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
just so I know how many times.
It'll
it's signed.
be the same language. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Well,
believe
I just want everybody to know it's very much appreciated.
you do a fantastic job and I cannot believe how much you do. It's just amazing what you.
Can't have them hanging on the street corner.
Yeah, wait, what did you say?
Can't have them hanging on the street corner.
You're trying to keep yourself out of trouble.
That's what I tell everybody.
Wait, where was your last trip? Where, you went on a 10-day.
Well, that trip, everybody pays on their own.
Uh-huh.
To Ohio, we went 4 days, but no, we just went to Seniorama on Monday. But I used the money toward the school bus.
Yeah.
To take them, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Got it. So, and I think our budget amount is about 1,800. That we contribute, so thank you for everything you do, senior citizens, you are a powerhouse for sure.
Can't wait to get old enough to go.
Oh,
Yeah. I know your wife comes occasionally.
She is older than she is older than I am. She is older than I.
Okay, put that in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're all in agreement with that, right? Okay. All right, great. The next item is the municipal building use policy. Like, this came again out of shared services committee. The town has a law about charging outside groups. The village, you guys don't. Right, so, when a county department wanted to use, that's how it all surfaced. So, either the town, we have to, change our law to not include that. Or we need to have further discussion. So this came out of the shared services. My recommendation is it goes to the building committee. To keep the conversation going and to discuss it. We've had, the building committee is John and I and Mayor Dalton and Anna. We've had a small tidbit of conversation over it, so, I think we're due for a meeting soon anyways. So, everybody good with that? Did we just move it to the, building committee? Mayor, you and I spoke about it as well.
That's absolutely should be where it belongs.
Okay, all right, so we'll call a committee meeting and, Anna and John, you're good with that? Yeah, okay, good. All right, 64 Main Street project update. Does somebody wanna give us, it's looking good out there, kind of dry. Well,
I know, we had a very hot dry. You know, it had been last year's summer, right? You've been off the hook on the watering, but we've had a watering schedule, I think it's been hot. People have signed up, but I think we actually by now we would watering it quite as frequently.
so you need more volunteers to help with watering.
Yes,
Yes, August.
you've been getting the sustainability emails, so that's how we.
Yep, we'll just let them.
Okay, and it's not hard. We have some water pressure problems sometimes. Right.
Water pressure problems.
Yeah, from the hose.
So the hose is connected out front.
Outside, yes,
Yes,
and the sprinkler sometimes.
There's
They're reluctant to
Doesn't even sprinkle.
Anyway.
Keeping the deer out?
Well, there
Wait,
were
what'd you
two
say?
here and there, don't laugh.
I haven't seen any deer activity.
Oh, I thought you said you
There's
Don't
deer.
say you're
Oh,
right.
there's deer there.
Oh,
And there's a deer that's.
I've seen them in.
Did you hear John's question?
Moose Pool.
John,
What,
what was your question?
well, are you keeping the deer out?
Well, no, there were deer in there and two ladies were not, we like to think they were concerned about the garden, but they really didn't want the deer to run.
Oh,
They shoot them for us, but they were.
one deer came, we were having a meeting in the board room, I don't remember what meeting, but this deer was skinny. Yeah. Very hungry.
Well, there's not much to eat out there.
I know, all right.
Anyway, and we have, we're gathering cardboard to cover up the back part, we're gonna put, which is on top of that. So we'll have another work day, if anybody wants to join, we'll make sure.
Please do. Also, do you need cardboard?
Sure do. Sure.
Oh,
We will take some, your
okay,
Amazon stash.
all right.
yeah, ideally not waxy cardboard, but anything else will do. Go to Aldi. They break down boxes all the time.
Yeah. We got some big appliance ones from Snuffs.
You want cardboard?
Yeah.
I have two pickup truck, I have a pickup truck full of it.
Oh, maybe I'll do it.
Well, my headquarters way too much on mine.
Okay. Well, I'll
The
tell you what.
refrigerator boxes.
Cause I.
Okay.
Oh, most of those big. Big ones.
Alright.
All right,
So if
the
you want,
average-
it's my house up in my garage till we're ready to use it.
All right, it's good in my garage, so you need it.
Okay, perfect. That's even better.
That's even better.
Then you can bring it at home.
Oh. There you go, Lynn.
Signed up.
Smile.
Signed
I
up.
just followed and told you.
Signed up.
Okay, the next item is the Vecino Group Midtown Plaza pilot request. So, there was a meeting with the IDA, Mayor Dalton Lee, myself, the school were there. And, to discuss the, pilot consent resolutions, Midtown. The Vecino Group is looking for a pilot agreement, so. There were 3 different resolutions, one for the town, one for the village, and one for the school. So, they are looking, to move forward with this. So we have to take formal action, on the pilot consent resolution. Lee, or Mayor, do you wanna add anything to this?
No, I think Lee can probably do the best job. A little more difficult for me sitting here where I am, dealing with it.
Okay.
This is probably not any different than what they've done in Potsdam and what the IDA did over there. for that development at the Clarkson, the old Clarkson buildings. So I think that this is a pretty much a standard standard direction they go in for an important project like this. Lee?
I don't really have anything to add. The type of project that they're doing does not fit in the sort of standard pilot that's already approved, pre-approved. So they have to make a formal request to get permission from the taxing jurisdiction. So they presented their request to you, and some questions have come up and been answered. It's really, that can best address questions. It's their justification proposal.
So one question I had is, we don't have the breakdown on what percentage each entity gets. Yes. And I feel like that would be very helpful. So what's the county percentage, the school percentage? Because if you look, like I just.
I'm not personally.
I know that, I don't mean for just to, sure.
There was,
But if you look at.
you should be able,
pilot-
I got, I see it.
I have some breakdown.
Okay, I see the.
Okay,
breakdown.
good.
Yeah, so that was, the specific question, they had, gave us a preliminary, pilot resolution. And I specifically asked, just because of our solar pilots and the experience we've had with that, is there needs to be language in here about the breakdown of who gets what percentage. And so they did add the language on the back of the resolution, that shows that it's it's a portion to each taxing authority based upon the respective pro rata share and at the tax rate of the current tax year. So, but Pat Kelly did give us these figures, specifically, the school, 49.5%. The village, 21%. The county, 19%. The town, 7.5%. And then, the special, district, 2.5%. So, but it's based upon the tax rate at the time.
Well, right, they are.
So,
The actual number, you mean?
right, so if you, exactly,
It's
so if you
close.
look at,
It's not-
so,
You wanna just.
so if you look at the first payment would be year 4, it's a total of 45,086, right? So they would calculate who gets what out of that 45,086. Because I said it's confusing the way it's written, because it looks like everybody's getting 45,086. So I wanted that specific language in here, because we went through solar with this, so. That's the information that we got at Kelly at the meeting, and the meeting was held, oh gosh, I didn't write this. Down 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah. So was there any?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay, so we have conversations going on. Okay, what's your question, John?
Why is it 33 years when normally these pilots are like 15 years?
Because this is a special, let me just look at my notes here. 10 years are standard. This is a deviation of the 10-year structure that they have.
Why?
Mayor, or Lee, you can pipe in as.
I think we talked to the casino yesterday.
Oh, you had a meeting with,
So they explained something.
did you ask these questions?
Yes.
Well, not the percentage one.
Oh,
Because we didn't figure they would know.
That's really,
I-
I gained those.
Yeah, I did. So in terms of my understanding of why it is longer is again has to do with the fact that it is the special. It departs from the standard
Yeah.
format.
Mhm.
And because it is based on what the state calls a shelter rent formula. And stop me if I screwed this up, but But that it's, the shelter rent has to do with revenue. Revenue minus expenses, and then it's supposed to escalate 2% each year. And so I
But the
think,
expenses escalate 3%.
it's
The state forces these numbers.
yeah, this has to do, and so it's because it's this special kind of pilot.
It's a deviation from the standard.
It
Right,
also
yeah.
has to do with the fact that
And-
it's financed through the state.
And it has
for
to
30
do with
years.
the useful life of the property. So it has to do, I guess they're figuring 30, I certainly hope more than 33 years, but I guess there's some sort of calculation about the life of the property that's figured into that.
And they've done this in other
Their
places.
Financing too, and it gives the state, an assurance about what their
Right.
costs are going to be over the years of their financing.
That's
Because
other
the
piece.
state,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please, Lynn? I didn't.
I believe it has to do with their financing as well, that they're going after, and that, my guess is that it's a 30-year term on the financing, so the people, the state. It's the Office of Homes and Community Renewal that they're applying to, want to see their projections over 30 years to make sure that it's gonna be a viable project with their financing. So this gives a set amount that they can rely on for safe lending, so they know they've projected out 30 years of expenses for this project. So it gives the state confidence to lend them the money and the consistency over that period of time that they're gonna be able to repay that.
there's many parts of it are proscribed by the state. They are looking out for themselves. They don't really aren't that interested in this factor. I mean, that these pilots affect local. Taxing.
They want their money back.
They want their money back.
Mayor, was the United Helpers pilot 30 years? Or was that 20? You remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I know it was extended.
30 or 33.
I think it was.
It-
It was.
Well,
almost 10 years
there's nothing
that
happens. They don't
though.
pay anything first year.
I remember that what we had ended up being extended because financing was extended.
Mhm.
I can't tell you exactly when it came up, and I think Cindy was involved in that, and she may know the exact number with what happened there.
It was extended for another year because they had to pay off a bond. That's what happened, why the pilot was extended for United Helpers.
How many years was it originally?
25, I can't remember.
Yeah, that sounds about right, but I
Okay.
can't say for sure. And I know it was extended. We got involved in that,
Right, just for another year.
Yeah.
at least, yeah.
United Helpers was more of like a non-for-profit type, even though there was part of it that was taxable. This is extremely generous. I mean, I thought the solar was ridiculous.
Can you speak up a little so everybody can hear
This
you?
is way better than any of the solar projects
Yeah.
are getting.
So we do understand, we have come to understand that it is considerably, a considerably greater percentage than usual. So what was the number that it said originally, like 2% or 3%?
Well, I think Lee, you told us that typically is, I think it was in your email, or maybe, no, it was the mayor's email that typically for this kind of housing things, it's 2 or 3% and they're going to 10%.
And but 2 or 3% of what, we should say, so the shelter rent formula, it has to do with this shelter rent
And
formula.
there's a worksheet.
And there is a
I'd like to look
worksheet.
at the little.
There's a, email also. anyway, Barb might find it, but yeah, I mean, I do think it is, I do think it is. Generous compared to what I have heard about other pilots, I will say that. You know, from my position, I was looking for that breakdown of numbers because I knew because we weren't getting all of that.
We don't get much.
And I think, you know, we were looking for, me personally, I was thinking, okay, 3 years in construction, that makes sense. You know, I also have been, it has been told to me that often payback doesn't start for like 5 years, so he's starting in year 4 is already ahead. So that felt good. I personally was looking for that percentage number for I was looking for the village's percentage to yield at least what we were getting before, when it was sitting there completely destroyed and empty and with, you know, no potential. And this number is right around that.
It's close.
It's close. So for me, this feels like a good thing. Personally.
You want me to read this? This
Yes.
is what the head of Messina, Rick, sent us after we talked with him yesterday. He says, the pilot is calculated at 10% of shelter rent.
Yep.
Shelter rent is defined as the gross rental income, and that assumes a vacancy loss factor. Right? Less utility expenses. The year 1 shelter rent in the first year of operation establishes the baseline pilot payment. Baseline pilot will increase by 2% annually for the next 29 years. The first full year of operation is projected to occur in year 4 after financial closing, allowing 3 years for construction. New York State Homes and Community Renewal and Housing Finance Agency require that rents escalate by 2% annually and expenses escalate by 3%. Even though the actual results may differ. So that's the state saying, you have to put that number into this calculation. Because they want it. These assumptions are standardized for consistency across projects. Expenses typically trend 60 to 70% of rental income, so the difference in escalation rates does not negatively impact the project's. That's how we.
Yeah. Can you forward that to our board?
I sure can, that would be helpful.
Okay.
He also has some, I'll just say, there's more in that email. He gave us the household income levels for, AMI, which I think, you know, is, will be interested to see, and, he also explained, the only way a student, because someone brought up student housing, because that was a big complaint asked him from landlords, and he talks about the only way a student qualified to live there. So that's also key. I just need some.
Okay, comments?
No, I understand that, but you know, what gets me is, you know, the project needs to happen, no question. And to find somebody that's actually willing to do it and make it happen.
Yep.
But the trade-off is there. And, you know, and I look at it from, you know, there's people in this community, lots of businesses in this community that have, this is a $27.2 million project, something like that. There's a lot of businesses in this community that have $1 million assessment. A lot. They're gonna pay, those local people that have $1 million assessment is gonna pay, are they gonna pay more in taxes in the town of Canton than this project is, and this goes on for 33 years. That's what I have problem with. You know, I said, and the perception out there is, you know, there's people out there that are gonna hear that. Why the hell do I invest in Canton when government just gives all the deals to people from outside here? Of course, nobody local is gonna do what Messina's gonna do here. But I said, it's the perception of it that just,
I guess the
what do you,
counter is it's out there for 25 years
hmm?
as a pit.
It was there for 25 years.
As a pit. So I share your frustration for sure, but I don't know if there's any other.
No, it's probably, they're probably,
There's the IPAs. They are the.
and
Yes.
so, and so on top of that, and a lot of local business people that want to build a business, they're gonna go to a bank, they're gonna take the money out of their pocket. There's a lot of grant money. There's a lot of money that's going to these people too, to do this. I mean, they're sharp people. They know what they're doing, and I understand that. But
I feel you.
Hmm?
I feel you, but I just don't know what are, what other choices.
move forward.
And I mean, I think that's what's hard about this. I think that, it feels like we're making this decision that sets this in stone for 33 years, which is well beyond the time I will be sitting at this table. So it's very difficult to.
This is my 33rd year.
Oh, wow.
You don't think you got 33 more in you?
But the point being,
Yeah.
I do, I don't think this is the ideal solution by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, I think, I have been trying to figure out, what would be a better what sort of accomplishes the purposes, what can't, and again, for all the reasons you said yourself, this is the deal.
We have to take what we can
We have
get,
to
and
take
this,
this.
and I mean, this is gonna do
It-
what we wanna do, but like I said, there's gonna be
Yeah.
that perception of, I feel bad for, and I'm gonna hear about it. I know I'm gonna hear about it, but
Can we ask that it be less than 33 years?
Yeah,
I
I think it's
listened
based
to
on
what,
the finance.
excuse me, Barb, I listened to what you said about it's attached to some of the other funding. But is it a mandate? Like, is that,
There's no mandate, they can ask for, they can make whatever proposal they wish. It's been in front of you, Cindy's received a bunch of information about it. There's been opportunity to ask questions about it, one-on-one discussions about it.
Who changes that number?
So I'm not sure, why it's now.
can it go down to a 25-year?
Who changes it though? Is it the state that changes it?
the idea,
The idea.
that's I assume the terms were,
Casino group.
Yeah.
IDA is only facilitating it through the process. The casino group is who you need to do it.
So,
The IDA has no influence over what they are proposing to you.
But ultimately, so I'm clear on this, ultimately the finding.
Again, the process was discussed at the meeting that we attended by the IDA.
That's fair. But ultimately, it's the state agency that's lending that's gonna say yes or no.
No, it's not.
But does
That's
that's
all
their
local.
application?
You're making a decision right now as a local taxing jurisdictions, whether or not you're accepting the proposal they're making for payment in lieu of taxes agreements. The idea is there to facilitate it. That is their role. They are not negotiating it for them. They're not advising them on how to propose. They are facilitating. This is Casino Group making this proposal at the taxing jurisdictions. There's a process through the IDA. There will be a public hearing. The IDA's board has to eventually approve it after a public hearing, after all of the consent resolutions have been passed by the taxing jurisdictions.
the county's gotta approve it, school's gotta approve it. The county doesn't have to approve it. Just the school, town and village? County doesn't.
Again, that was explained by the IDA in that meeting that we had. I don't want to be quoted as to what their process actually is, but I believe it's part of the local law for pilot agreements that our IDA was approved in our county at the time. Again, don't quote me. We can get more information from the IDA if needed about the process, but the county does not need to pass a resolution. It's only town, village, and school.
I would just say, as a follow-up, Bob, from the ITA sent me and I think he sent the agreement for their project. And there was it's much longer than just our little chart. So that is what I would suggest is the complete agreement. But in that, there was a section where the final payments did increase. And it had this criteria about residential, if it's higher than a certain, if residential income was higher than a certain amount, percentage, then a percentage of that would be added to the final. So, I mean, I guess that makes to have a loss like that, but again, we're just, that agreement's like 25 pages long.
But that, I believe, is what comes after the resolutions, after the IDA adopts it, is when the actual pilot agreement is drafted.
And so, but is our.
But again,
I know, this is not fair to each one.
I don't,
But
I'm not.
Is this our one opportunity? That's what I guess, I mean, are we?
Yes.
Or, yeah. And so, I mean, you're asked, I mean, not you, but.
It's in front of you right now.
I know, without all the information. Like that would make a difference to me, that there was a chance it could go
So
up.
ask, that's all I can say.
I did ask,
Very willing. I've made efforts when asked to connect to the CNO.
Yep.
To answer questions, because I know it's complicated and I'm not the person who's taking the proposal. I'm happy to connect you, they're very willing.
Well, I addressed this back to Bob, so maybe I should address it.
I would say any questions, you go to Rick.
Yeah, okay.
Again, IDA facilitating, helping, provide information, but they are not part of the negotiation.
Right, got it.
Would it be helpful to, have a meeting with the casino together, because you're getting information back, but we're not gonna, well, we could see it, but,
That was in response, I asked you yesterday, or 2 days ago, if any of your board members had questions, because we were ready to do a meeting, because some of the village board members had questions. You said no. So we went forward and scheduled a meeting to have questions answered. So it's not that anybody got left out. I asked the question and no one, I have no indication that there were any questions from the council.
We're in a position though right now where we can continue to ask questions before we move forward with this. Is that?
Well, I think that, my understanding of the timelines, that Vecino is operating under, is that they need a pilot agreement in place by end of next month. Which means like I don't know exactly, I don't know, but there is a time frame. And so,
So we need both.
I mean, we would need to move quickly. I don't know that that means we would have to do it now. We're not gonna be able to wait for another joint meeting, for
No, no.
example,
We have to do something special.
or
Do it
do it our
do it
individual
at-
board meetings if we weren't ready to move forward now.
Any questions, Cindy? Can I ask a question of Cindy? Okay. Cindy.
Yeah,
Since it's in the village, are there any special districts involved? You still will have to put an assessed value on it, won't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there aren't any special districts involved, is there? Like there is with town, like their fire is all part of their budget. Where ours is separate, so it's.
yeah. Right,
But
that's
there's no,
correct.
there's no special districts in the village.
So it's the Canton Fire District on it, I believe. I'm not sure without looking, so,
the village, the village gives, the village gives to the fire department right through your budget, don't they, Mike?
Okay.
Yes, they
not-
do. They're a village department
That's
and they're
okay.
funded through
Alright.
the village budget.
Like I said,
Okay,
if
so then there are no special districts.
there's no special district, okay, not like, it's not like, not like a town pilot.
No.
Okay,
Right, right.
all right, thank you.
Can I say a few words? I got an email from, Anna, tonight for the meeting and I realized you guys have a lot of questions and you want to know how much the property be assessed at, and it's hard to tell. I mean, as an assessor, we assess property as is, and there's nothing there yet, and we're basically speculating, you know, from the numbers. And if it's assessed, there's three approaches. There's the cost approach, and like you guys said what the cost was before Jim said it. There's the income approach that would be based on the rents and the expenses, and who knows if they're gonna fill up the first year. You know, they might be only at 75% occupancy and 25% vacancy, so that would affect the assessment based on the income approach. And then there's the sales approach, and that would be out the window because there's no properties out there like that we could compare that to with other sales. It's a pilot. You guys can go through the procedure with IDA and with the casino group, and it's a tax break. It's a tax break. It's for private companies, for incentives, for new jobs and housing. And if they don't get it, then they don't build, you know, so it's one of these things. What do you do? So you can negotiate. There's always terms for negotiation. 33 years is a long time. You know, maybe you want to try 15 or, you know, 12 or something. But it's to get them to come into the area to build. If they don't and they take it elsewhere, then we're stuck with a dilapidated building back there and nobody's doing anything. So it's something. That's how we look at it. It's something. And as far as the appraisal, the assessment goes, I really can't honestly answer you. They could do changes in the midstream of construction and things get added, things get deleted. So I can't give you an honest answer there, as far as the assessment's concerned. And like I said, it's up to you guys, but if they don't get it, they don't build, they don't come, you know, so it's a big controversy. So that's what I have to say about that.
All right, thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
So how do we move forward? Town board want to meet with the casino group to ask any more questions? I'm curious if they would consider, going to a 25-year agreement. I'm sorry?
Karen says there's questions.
There's more, I think there's more questions. I'm not ready to form the resolution like this.
Okay.
So do we want to try to schedule a meeting with
Speak up, you're shaking your head, speak up. Okay,
I think there's a lot of timelines to meet and a lot of stuff going on, and I think, you know.
I think they made every effort to provide you information and give you time to review it and ask questions before getting to today.
But it's also
There's still
learning,
things, so-
it's a learning thing about pilots and, you know, and structures and, you know, I did go to the IDA meeting and there was a lot I didn't know that I learned that day. you know, I know, you know, Jim, you've had far more experience with this than I have, and, you know. But it's important that we listen to each other, and I have to agree with you, Kara. I'm a little weary on the 33 years, and I think it would make sense for both boards to meet with, Rob as soon as possible. So we can maybe do it by Zoom, that, you know, that might be helpful. And have
Well-
that involved too.
I mean, we're gonna have to split that up, there's not, I mean, we can't do a open meeting negotiation, so. I don't think both boards can get in a room and meet on Zoom is what I'm saying, so, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Without it being an actual
yeah,
meeting.
without noticing it, yeah, so,
Oh, you have to notice it.
yeah, exactly.
So, let me ask a question, you guys. So you've met with them and it was an ongoing negotiation process that you guys did with them, right?
No, we just asked
We
questions
just had an opportunity
That's
to
true.
go to the tour and ask questions,
true.
and that's what we did.
We just,
Yeah.
you know, again, we got that one page, it didn't,
Right.
I had questions, I didn't understand how they came up with the number, where the number come from.
Yeah, we,
Anything, was very helpful because they explained.
they explained everything in terms of how they got
How
to the
they-
proposal,
And
why
what
it's
the state
there.
requires
Yeah.
and all that, I mean, that's reassuring, I mean, they didn't just pull those numbers, they gave, you know. I guess this is what they sent to Cindy, which we sent us this week, I mean, there's some very detailed number things, you know, they're you know, they know how to do this because they do this all the time.
Right.
Were these numbers available before yesterday?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my question.
The first time we've seen them were yesterday.
With the original one.
I can't speak to
And then
that,
this was
but-
the updated one.
Right, with the numbers.
They've been out there for a long
Numbers
time,
were on the original.
probably a month.
Okay, but bottom line is that as we're not ready to move forward, we need to figure out what the next step is. And I think that if we need to, if you have questions, if we get that meeting done as soon as we can, and I mean, that's what the process is gonna be, and if we wanna negotiate, see if they'll come a few years down from the 33. 33 does seem like a lot.
That, cause we all,
I understand that, so if you wanna have a couple of representatives from your group, from the town, meet with them. And if we have questions, follow them through you, so it's one more meeting and then let's move forward that
to
way.
be the devil's advocate, for that, and I've been a lot of it, like nobody's business, but be the devil's advocate.
Sure.
What leverage do we have? And what, you know, what's the end game? They say no, this is it. I mean, is this a waste of time? That's what I'm saying.
I personally don't think you're gonna gain a lot. I made my comments because of, you know, I just think, yeah, it's, yeah. And so I do think it's extremely generous. It's a village project. It's in the village of Canton. The town of Canton is not gonna get a big bundle of money out of this regardless. And so I'm
Neither is the
prepared,
village.
if the village wants to move ahead with this, then you're happy with it.
You support.
I'll go ahead and vote.
I inclined to kind of go with Jim. This seems like a last minute kind of situation where every time I hear that noise now, I get scared.
Me too. I'm gonna mute you, Mike, so if you need to talk, just unmute, okay? 'Cause I think he's the only one, so
I
I'm just gonna
didn't
mute him.
make my
I just unmuted. It's hard to hear everybody's comment. My concern is, yes, it's a village project. It's an awful hole in our village. And I'm concerned about, the fact that we've got somebody to do something there. There's a plan. I guess I don't know if this is the same deal that the IDA cut with them for the Potsdam project. I think it's very similar. And Anna, when you were over there, did you get that sense when you toured that that's the same type of deal that?
There are actually some differences, I think, in terms of the project, so I'm not really sure. When I looked at at the actual pilot for, there do seem to be a lot of similarities. It seems very similar in terms, I will say that. For the quarry, it seems very similar. Although there are some, I think, pretty distinct differences in the actual projects.
My big thing would be that one. Well, clause, whatever, that talks about an escalation of the taxes collected based on, you know, profitability. And I would like to be sure that's not included, that's all, that's your one. At least acknowledgement that, oh, this is going better than we thought, so everybody will share a little bit of that. I guess that's a question for Greg.
I just think that this brings a lot to our community, to our village, for an awful spot that we have right now, an awful eyesore. I guess that's what we have to balance.
And what leverage, I mean, we don't have any. Did you want to say something,
I said, I agree with the mayor, that's the fundamental aspect of this, everybody has to, all municipalities that deal with this have to balance that. What's for the best of the community and what's gonna work out versus kind of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see us kind of, it would be great if we did have some leverage to bring some of this money specifically to infrastructure that will be stressed in a different way because of the additional living quarters. But
Well, in terms of infrastructure, they will be paying water and sewer rates. That they don't get out from underneath that. It brings people to our community, brings people to our village, and that helps support the businesses that exist. So those are the positives that I see. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to get 100% value, tax on all of this, but I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't know, again, what leverage we have. And I think that that's something that is part of that discussion.
So the tour that we took was to see what they did with the quarry building, and then we're looking at upgrading that other building. So, I'm sorry?
Condo home.
Yeah.
I worked on the quarry one for
But you don't have the specifics in terms of just notify us.
Oh, it's online, it's a public document. I think it was the same.
Can we ask about that clause that Barbara was talking about in terms of percentage of tax increase pending profitability?
I mean, I'm happy to send that to Rob. Right.
I would suggest one.
Go directly, okay. It just,
I'll get one copy, Rob, that's fine, Rick is the numbers guy.
okay,
He's the one who answers the question.
right, okay.
And can I just say, I'm not trying to discourage anything, if you have questions, absolutely answer them. If you want to try to negotiate or have some back and forth, I would absolutely encourage you to do that. But also please be mindful about the timelines and things, there was time given, to do that, and that's like where my frustration is coming from. But if you can address it individually at your next board meetings and get any questions answered by then, I would say probably the resolutions are gonna be consistent, so. So there's, in some way should be done together, again, when initially we met, the school was there too. So because they are the other jurisdiction, so, no one is trying to say that you can't try to have a conversation, or they'd probably be surprised if you didn't. It's their proposal, it's there to be discussed.
The Potsdam project was 32 years, because again, it was a renovation, not a redesign.
No.
And
What's a year? I mean, it's
Yeah. And it's not that different. It's a little bit, the monies are a little bit higher, but it's again a bigger. thing.
Lee, do you remember when the school board's meeting is? Was it the second meeting?
I don't happen to recall, it's probably on the website if you'd like me to look.
I perhaps can find that out fairly.
Okay, so what would the village like to do?
I mean. I mean.
I don't want
guess I
people to
asked-
go forward without their questions being, and feeling satisfied that, I mean, where I'm at, yes, there are some things that it would be nice to, if we could,
Am I willing to blow the whole thing up over it? Of course not.
definitely not.
So in some ways, we can ask questions. They're very willing to answer questions.
Absolutely.
They're not defensive or anything else. Very, very willing. I mean, I think Rick was on vacation. But,
He's on a plane.
you know, he
Right now.
made every effort to talk to us. Both services.
Right,
So,
so,
I don't-
it's,
let's be.
So, but I still have a question on what process we would use going forward if we don't do this now? What process would we have that would keep in mind their timeline? And we're all in agreement, we don't wanna lose this project.
No.
So what process would we have?
You thought it would be good on this agenda because it was a joint meeting and it's a joint concern. If you aren't ready to move forward, you could each move forward at your meetings. Yes.
and then answer,
That's
get,
the next.
But
step.
they would have to have two separate meetings, though.
Your meeting.
One with
Village
town.
board meeting, town board meeting.
No, I'm saying, I'm talking about with the Vecino group,
Well, I mean, you.
because we
can
couldn't do it
send
all together
questions.
because that's
We
it,
don't
we'd
need
have to
do
notice that.
meeting. If, I mean, develop a list of questions. I don't know. I don't know.
I guess that's for you to decide, but I'll facilitate whatever you'd like to.
Or were you willing to ask questions?
I mean.
He has been.
I have, I mean, so.
The village is fine with it. Move
I-
forward.
Right, what Jim's saying, if the village is fine with it, it's your project.
Move them. Yeah, go, go.
I mean, we'll support it if you want us to support it. I mean, the only main concern I hear at this end of the table is the 33 years.
yeah.
Can I'd be happy to ask the Vecino group if, they'd be willing to shorten the term. Really, that's what I'm hearing. And I'm not hearing everything really well, so I'm gonna have to talk with Anna or
Yeah.
Barb when I get back. But, it seems as though it's the length of the term that has the most concern. We can ask if, a shorter term would be appropriate or if they could work with a shorter term. We don't want to blow the project up. So this starts with the village and the town and then moves on to the school district. And then there's a public hearing and then it's done. So there is a timeline. I'm willing to, see if they can shorten the term. We'll have a conversation with them. I'm sure Lee can put it together, and by the time our meetings come up here in the next couple of weeks, we can probably get this done.
We're next Wednesday, aren't we? No,
Ours is the
ours
13th.
is 13, 2
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Because
we'll
you
get-
guys are-
Hmm? No, that's right.
And what do you do?
This thing is, what the hell? Oh, no, that is.
Is this okay with my board and with Lee? Do you think this is doable?
Lee, this meets timelines for them, so yes, best as we know.
Don't know if it's something that they need in place before they submit for financing. I don't have an answer to that. I would guess, so yes, if you make decisions in
By the
August.
20th, yeah,
Because they aren't submitting financing applications until September.
right,
So if there's, there's still a process after
right,
yours. To
right.
getting it all in place, but,
This just seemed like the perfect time to at least have a conversation with both boards.
And I think this is good.
So,
Well, I
you know,
knew about the school board meeting as well, so.
well, yeah, the school board is the next step. I think that if the village and the town agree, I think that's a powerful statement that we make to the school board that this is important and we need to move.
Maybe every other week. Maybe-
Second and fourth, right?
Okay, so,
I still feel that if you guys negotiate, I'm speaking for myself. I'm comfortable that you guys can do it. It's you're gonna negotiate in good faith, and I have faith in you guys do it right, so that, I mean, I don't need to get involved.
But we need your board.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, but if you come up,
Yeah.
if you come up with a
Question asking and come to a conclusion and
That's
then
right.
just let them know.
That's right, yeah, that's where I am personally.
I like your thinking.
That's the consensus at this end of the table.
Great.
Okay, sounds like we have a, you know, we
Okay.
have a direction.
Yeah, and
so
when,
are we gonna take a vote? So, let's think about, are we?
And what?
are we on this?
no.
We're not voting on anything right now.
I just have one other question. Yes, the term, the 33-year term is one question. The other question, I think, is what Barb brought up with the clause that they have in Potsdam, that taxes be impacted potentially pending the profitability. I think that those are my two questions.
And I'll send you that part of it, or I can tell you what page it is on in the Potsdam Bible to read if you want, or to ask them about it and say, you'd like to include this?
And maybe we get a combination of two.
Yep.
That's fine. Send it out. We're gonna need it.
All right, I just want to make that clear. Thank
Okay,
you.
It appears from what I see that there's a Board of Education meeting on August.
So did they, all right.
So we still have time.
okay.
The only other thing I want to say is those percentages that you gave out, Marianne, they're as of today. But they'll change on an annual basis, so.
And that's the language that's in. Okay,
Depending on tax rate.
okay, so, we'll wait to hear and, we'll put it on our August agenda.
Thanks for the help.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, the next item is the revaluation update. I asked Cindy to be here to give a quick, update. Cindy?
Hi, okay. The town of Canton property owners have spoken. 827 data mailers have come back to my office. The breakdown is as follows. The village of Canton, I received 290. The village of Rensselaer Falls, I received 29. And the town of Canton, I received 508. I'm still accepting the data mailers, maybe another couple of weeks, but that's about it. So we're pretty much done. I took all those data mailers and I made all the changes in RPS. And at this point, I just need to update the property record cards that are in the files. So I'll have time to do that, but at least all the changes are now done in the system. I'm working with Garth, and I guess that's the next step right now. And I'll be reviewing the sales for the revaluation project. And that'll probably be over the last 2 years of sales. And as they come in, I go through them and make sure they're valid and everything. But I'm gonna run a double check on them. So, and if they have any questions, I'll be working with them closely in regard to the sales they'll be using. Also, another topic came up, which was the exemption processing for the solar exemptions, the RP 487, the residential solar. exemptions that the town opted out of in 2022. But there were people who are still receiving those exemptions, and I needed to know how we were gonna handle that. So there's a couple of scenarios we're going through right now. Whether we're gonna keep the exemption, drop it down to $1 or put the exemption amount on top of what they value. So we're not sure right now how that's gonna go. So that's still up in the air. The other thing was the utility advisory appraisals. Those were sent down to the state in July 1st. I sent them down to the state. They received them. Those are the parcels that GAR does not value. And the following are the list of the companies that the state will appraise: Niagara Mohawk, Pirates Hydro, St. Lawrence Gas Company, Edwards Telephone, Verizon New York, Flex Network Solutions, Iroquois Gas Trans Systems, Spectrum Northeast Albany, Spectrum Northeast Syracuse, and CSX Transportation Incorporated. I have a copy for you, Heidi, in case you're trying to keep up, writing it down. I have it. So those will be the state will be valuing them, and they'll be sending them in just before March, so we get done. We have to notify them early so they have time to do them. And at this point, I'm doing some field review of pictures that were missed or properties that need to be addressed through the data mailers, and I'm doing that as of now. So that's where we're at right now. We're still going strong. Does anyone have any questions?
Has DAR informed you as to responses from the commercials?
No, I didn't get that. He's on vacation this week, Ryan, so they had a longer date than we did. They went to July 11th, and I'm sure they're still coming in. So probably by the end of the month, I should have probably our next town board meeting, I'll have a number for you with the commercial response from GAR.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Cindy, appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, item number 8, this is town only. We had the public hearing, there were no comments. So there is a resolution to support this application for $36,000. So I need a motion from the board.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? Okay, with that being said, I need a motion from the town board to adjourn at 7:45. Is there a motion?
Did we do the WRP? Did we do
Can we do number
Oh,
9?
excuse me, the local waterfront revitalization, contract, that's not ready yet. The committee's still going through the process, and so we need to table that.
Okay.
And hopefully something possibly for our town board meeting, you'll have it before you. I'm sorry? That's what we should be doing. Okay, so that'll be on the agenda. Okay, no public comment? Okay.
Just, can I just say thank you for putting up with my absence? This was an important meeting and, but it was more important that I was where I am, so.
Well, hang in there.
Oh, yeah.
You get by Zoom, so. Okay, town board, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So moved. Second. Okay. Quick, somebody, all in favor? Aye.
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 Yeah.